Hola, bonjour, and hello, everybody. You are listening to Worldwide Tea. It is the one and only podcast where every single week we cover everything that's going on in the world of international drag race. And for those who have been tuning in, guess what? It is Canada's Drag Race Season 6 time. We are coming up on the end of an era. We're not there yet, but it's the penultimate episode right before the finale, and it is a wild, wild time. As always, I am Evan Saudi from Pot Matters.
I'm Gregory Old from the playlist. Evan, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. We're off to a lovely start to a January, a bounteous box office from all things that I hear, which is
Yeah.
lovely. There's some things that are in the works. For those of you who listen for everything drag related, we will be have another episode out around this time, which is about our Meet the Queens interviews that are thoughts for everything going on with UK versus the World Season 3. We do have thoughts. Rest assured. But I think the main thing overall, Greg, is how heartbroken are you over the passing of Didi Fuego from the competition of RuPaul's Drag Race season 18?
Didi Fuego and the long list of robbed queens.
She
Listen,
doesn't feel like a first out if I'm being so real with you. Like
you
that's the thing.
know,
That's like,
she
yeah.
did what she did at first, but then on the show, I'm like, oh no, wait. I feel like there was a bit. So here's my thing about this
Okay.
episode. Um, Listen, I love my girl, Darlene Mitchell. I want to root for her so hard, but I am starting to wonder, in the words of Bianca Del Rio, what exactly are you good at? Like,
Success.
what do I, we have, wait, what's the line again? It's
I was like, what are you good at? Successfully. Quickly.
successfully,
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm a little concerned. And by the way, that concern will grow as the episodes continue. But I will say that I did not think that Mandy or Dee Dee should have been on the bottom. I thought they were fine. I
Hmm.
know their group was bad. I thought there were other queens in the other groups that were worse, and I felt really bad for them. And I felt bad for Mandy, who now has two lows or bottoms, even though
Hmm.
technically she really wasn't in the bottom because they never did a lip sync. And
Hmm.
I feel I don't want to use the word producer shenanigans. I feel like everyone on the show may have prejudged the two of them and has put them
Hmm.
on this path. And yeah, I thought it was. I was sort of sad at the end of it. I felt bad for Dee Dee. And then if you watch a pack, and she's just nice and delightful and smart. And yeah, she's a Hell's Kitchen sort of basic queen, but she deserved a little bit better than like she's
Hmm.
sugarcane. Like she's
Yeah.
like I so I feel bad for her. They haven't started shooting Latino Royale yet. There's still time. She can still
I
jump
just say
over.
the only thing I'll say is that like I'm sorry, y'all were fighting for the disco song. Y'all were fighting
Oh
for
yeah.
that for
I've heard this a
real.
lot. Yeah.
Okay.
But but beyond what's going and first of all, I actually posted it and it like it's sort of gone a little wild on threads, but like can we talk about Dove Cameron's reaction to that lip sync? She's just living her life. And by the way,
Absolutely.
Mandy sold it. Like she
Hmm.
like Dove didn't have to play. Like if I was an artist and Mandy did that to my song, I'd be like, Ova, like that would have been so great. But we there's other breaking news.
Breaking news.
We're recording this at a little afternoon on Sunday, January 11th, just so everyone can timestamp it. Um, Evan, you are unaware of this, but Alona Verley, tying into Canada, is quite upset this morning or this afternoon,
Oh
wherever
no.
she is.
What's
Um,
going on?
she put on her Insta that there for assuming everyone knew that this was happening. There's not one Indigenous queen on the upcoming season of Canada's Drag Race All Stars, which has not been announced. Um, but and by the way, what a great way to convince the producers to make you a backup or to cast you by just spoiling that they're shooting Canada's Drag Race All Stars
All
um,
stars.
and to shame
And has
them.
already been cast,
And
apparently.
has already
Yeah.
been well, to be honest, it would be because they would be calling the queens to give them enough notice so that they can get outfits and whatever. So just a hint, Alona Verley may have spoiled that we will be having Canada's Drag Race All Stars and not Canada versus the World in a year. And she won't be making the show. And if she is true and has talked to all the queens and they've spread it around, you can start eliminating potential contestants based on their Indigenous backgrounds. So we are sorry to all the Indigenous queens who from Canada who are potentially not on All Stars, but also Alona. may take it back and say, I didn't know what I was talking about because they called her and said, shut the fuck up. So you never know what's going to happen. But also, would it be a Canada's drag race season without Alona Burley doing something messy? Like, it just, it's like, it's
I
water is wet, right?
Yeah, I quite frankly, I don't know if she's going to make Slaycation 3 at this point. I'm worried that invite might get lost in the mail somehow. So who knows? Here's what I do know though, Greg, is that in this House of Love, we believe that all drag is valid and no queen ever deserves online hate. And as American entertainment journalists, we may not get every reference and always appreciate corrections. And there are some truly great queens who aren't good at Drag Race, and we love them all the same. I don't know how Ilona Verley would have fared on this season. Please go ahead, by all means.
I no, I don't know how she would have either, and I did not mean to interrupt you, Evan. But there's one other tiny piece of breaking, not breaking news,
Breaking news.
news, news in context we need to share with anyone listening to this podcast. Obviously, the episode ran on Thursday. Recording this on Sunday. It'll be up Sunday night, or it'll be up Monday. We have Golden Globes tonight,
Right.
but yeah. So the viewing party in Toronto to crown a potential winner that Brooklyn Heights will be at. Amazingly, only two of the four finalists are there, Evan. Is there's nothing to read into that, right? Like the fact that
No.
only two of the four are there, they're not spoiling the top two in any way. Could they potentially?
Oh, not at
Okay. So
all.
if you want to be
Yeah.
a Nancy Drew and you don't want to know who the top two is before Thursday, just go on Brooklyn Heights Insta and see what she's been tagged in.
Yeah, that's yeah, again, it's always given how protective that World of Wonder has been overall about everything, about spoilers, about alternate endings and things like that. You'd think that sometimes they'd be a little bit tighter, but then again, it's like that's the kind of thing you would do maybe if it was a low-rated season. But by all indications, when we looked at the views of the Meet the Queens for season five
Yeah.
versus six, I know Saltina had a part of that, but like it was so much huger than the previous one. So I'm not sure how ratings have been, but as we've all been talking about, as the internet has been talking about, this has been a well-regarded season overall. So I don't know where it's happening with the populace, but yeah,
I don't know how it's doing worldwide, but I know in Canada it's consistently number two after Heated Rivalry on Crave. So I think when
a
those
Crave
episodes
original.
drop, a Crave
Yeah.
original. So by the way, don't even say anything on Threads or Bluesky or wherever that like it could be an America. The Canadians will come after you like it's their
You
Celine
thought the
Dion.
Philippine fan bases were pretty
Oh,
intense. Wait till you see the Canadian gay hockey BL lovers. That is a whole different contingent, let me tell you.
the white women who love this show. Jesus Christ, they're driving me crazy. But let's talk about a show other white women like Canada's Drag Race.
Hello,
Evan,
everybody. Episode 8. We're doing it.
we're doing it.
Yes. So when we get back to the start of this episode, we walk into the workroom, and of course, we found out that Saltina Shaker has just been eliminated. We are down to a top 5 at this point. Saltina, hold on one second here. Saltina, I guess she in her mirror message said, "I didn't need to win to prove
Mhm.
that I'm worth it," and I thought that was actually really, really true. She did pretty great all the way throughout the season. And then Van Goth, as they're sitting around talking, Van Goth drops a trivia information piece that I had no idea was real, that they are the first queen to win 3 maxi challenges in
Tied,
Canada's Drag Race history. Tied.
tied,
Okay. Oh yes,
tied with Rita Baga.
Rita Baga from season 1. Yes, correct, correct. Oh
What
boy,
illustrious,
yes.
what illustrious company.
Absolutely.
Listen, we love our Drag Race Belgique host and French Canadian legend Rita Baga. Yeah, there's a number of times this episode where Van Gogh likes to remind everyone how many challenges she's won, which is getting a little grating. The only other thing I would notice from this moment was Karamilk said she's sad that Saltina was gone because she was her guardian angel. Like she was her closest person on the cast that had been remaining. And two other interesting quick points I had was Saltina wrote on her mirror message, "That's how the saltine crumbles," which I think might be a little overthinking it in your hotel room about like what to put on the mirror message. And then I can't believe you're forgetting the biggest news of all is can you talk about what did Ebony tell us that or tell us about what she thought on the couch while they were sitting there?
About Caramilk's outfit. how she thought it was an apple too, which I said last week.
Do
Yes,
you?
which I did because that's the sense that I got. Even my husband was like, "Is it? Is it really?" I'm like, "Yes, it absolutely is." That's at least the sense that I got from it.
Wow.
But yeah, I did not think it was great. But there was obviously Applegate is now the newest thing, obviously, as we can do. It's getting a little messy again. Like I go back to the statement that my husband made earlier. Like I'm not sure how much the queens truly like each other this season, which is actually making for great TV, truth be told. But yeah, at least it's not Michael Rappaport in in the Traders. I'll say that much. But it's still fascinating.
Listen, you know what? Who's the contestant? I think it's a Big Brother contestant who told Michael to calm down.
Cool it
Uh,
down. Yeah,
but
exactly.
who is
Yeah,
that? I don't know her.
I can't remember off the
She
top
on
of my
Big
head. Yeah.
Brother. You know what? Some of these queens on this Canadian season could have used her to be
Uh-huh.
like, bring it
Just
down a
down.
notch.
A little tiny.
Speaking of, the next morning they come
Oh my
into the
God.
workroom. First of all, we should say our guest judge this week is Grammy Award winner and Broadway star Allison Russell. I don't know who she is, but she sounds familiar. Do you know who Allison Russell is?
I've heard some of her music. There's been like a lot of like she's very critically acclaimed in the music scene overall, but like I've seen her some of her records show up on a couple like end of year listings. I've not checked out her
Oh,
music personally, but I know she's relatively beloved. So yeah.
amazing. So they come back into the workroom, and as we foretold earlier, Van Goth reminds everyone once again that she has three wins. And you know what? This is not going to be a hate on Van Goth episode. Van Goth, if you're listening, I'm going to say that the producers prompted this conversation. That they asked you to
Hmm.
bring this up. They wanted some conflict, and so everyone could talk about how many wins they have and how many they don't. All I'm going to say is, in the context of all this, one of the more we have a nominee for our Wait What Award for 2026. All of a sudden, Karamilk gets insanely emotional, and it does
Hmm.
not seem like staged tears. It feels like it's genuine about how she feels like she has so little support from the girls, and that she's all on her own, and that she's giving support to all these other queens, and they aren't giving it back. Evan, what was your reaction to this? Because it was like a little jarring for me.
Well, there was a small conversation that happened right before it, which was
Mm,
that PM was talking about like I don't have a win, but I'm ready for this. I'm ready to go in. If it's a performance challenge, I'm there. And then Ebony talks about, well, I was actually crowned the lip sync assassin, and then says that there's a difference between a lip sync assassin and a lip sync survivor, which was a wild piece of shade to throw. But that kind of led to the conversation of how can you do well in this competition if you don't have a win? And I think that's where Caramilk was interesting because I feel like throughout the season she's put on such a strong front of just and actually there's a conversation that happens later in the episode about kind of token black women in
yes.
competition formats, which is actually fantastic. But I thought if for me like it was spurred a little bit by the PM and Ebony conversation, but it is the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you are in the top four and don't have any wins, but you're still kind of in there. Like I'm not gonna, not to necessarily compare POC to POC, but I think about a lot about Mami Watts' original one on Drag Race
Mm-hmm.
France season two, went to the top without having to lip sync, without having a win, and is still beloved. Later came on to, of course, win, dominate, destroy France All Stars. So I could kind of see a little bit where Caramel came from. It didn't feel too out of the moment to me, but like that's a very real feeling. This is the episode right before the finale, so yeah, tensions are a lot higher than they normally would be. That's the sense I got.
I mean, their conversation later on is so on point. There have been US seasons where POC queens and particularly black queens have both made it to the top four, top three, but it is startling rare. It's
Hmm.
perhaps too rare. The only other thing I would say, and which I think is one of the smartest things I've heard in a long time. Ebony is totally right. They need to change this how they how we all differentiate someone who wins a lip sync or not. I don't think you're an assassin if you keep taking other queens out. You're a survivor. You're an assassin when you come in on another season and you're a guest star and you take somebody out, or you win a Lollapalooza and you just win and win and win and win and win like a bracket challenge. I
Yeah.
think she's right. I might start calling it lip sync survivor and not
I
assassin.
mean, for those who caught our coverage of A Drag Race España season five, I can tell you right now, Alexandra de Raval is not a lip sync assassin. She may have sent
Yeah.
home three girls, but that is absolutely a lip sync survivor. Anitra, she is not. But
Yeah.
it is just
Jax on her season, not an assassin, a survivor, like hands down.
Yeah. So there might be some things going on with that. We'll
Yeah.
get into a little bit more of what Karamilk talks about. I think it's a really good conversation. But Miss Brooklyn Heights enters in the workroom. As Sami Landri points out, Miss Brooklyn, there's a hole in your suit. And I think, listen, I did not realize that Brooklyn had won the first season of Drag Race Holland, but I'm so happy for her with her her outfit full of various holes over there. But she announces the semifinal challenge is that are about to happen. Greg, what is going on in this another wackadoo
It,
challenge from our Canadian Drag Race producers?
listen, they're always going to do the most. And I'm not mad at it, although this was a little janky. It is the CUNT challenge. I actually think
Hmm.
Brooklyn says cunt,
Uh-huh.
which, bless. So there's four different challenges, and they over each one queen will win, and the other three will keep winning to try to remain into the challenge until they get to the end, and there'll be a lip sync for your life, and one queen will make the top four, and one queen won't. So it's a lot to try to put into one episode. And what's amazing is somehow they do this and have way too much time in the workroom, which was a weird balance for the entire episode. I kept thinking this episode was going to go boom, 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 boom. And I
Hmm.
felt like it went, oh, challenge. Oh, why are we in the workroom so long? Challenge. Why are we in the workroom so long? But we do find out the first challenge is that the queens are going to go on the main stage and perform a hilarious rap from a previous season using spoken word from audio clips from some of the queens. I love this idea. Like I would love to see this idea in other seasons, especially US.
Hmm.
Um, but Sami Landri says, I'm a white girl from New Brunswick. Do I look like a rapper? So she doesn't. But what was strange to me about this challenge is it clearly happened on the same day. I immediately want to know, had they been given these verses days before? Did they have how much time did they have to learn them? Like, what was the prompt for this? Because it was the same day. This was not like they had a day to learn it and they came back. And by the way, this does feel like an episode that was shot over 3 days. Like, it feels like they took a long time to
There
shoot.
is no way they filmed this in a
Yeah.
standard 20, like regular 1, 2 day work frame. There is literally no way that they could have done it with the amount of prep that went into all of this. Yeah.
So they come out and these are big, like they have every queen has like choreographed themselves like this number for this, or they're doing it freestyle, but they've clearly had enough time to think about what they're doing. But Eboni comes out first and she has season one. And I immediately thought, oh my God, wait, did they write this? No, they didn't. This was literally just given to them.
Was
And
it
the first
Lemon?
thing, yeah, the first thing that I noticed, and she was the only one who really had this problem. Ebony missed a lot of the lyrics. Like she really
She was not good, Greg. I'm just
no.
gonna say it right now. She was not good.
And I immediately wrote down how much time did they have to learn this? Because
Right.
she was way off. I don't know if she was nervous or whatever, but it was a little shocking to me. Was there any other takes from her not being good from her?
It,
Besides, I
I would
liked this
actually,
mix.
I would say that she did the worst out of anyone this challenge. If I'm
Yeah.
being so real, I thought it was definitely not her suit or whatever. So yeah, not a great season one start.
Sammy had season two. I thought she was good. I didn't think it was like groundbreaking, but it was
She's better
very
than Ebony,
better than
right?
Ebony. But I thought it was fun. I didn't remember a lot. I mean, I must be very biased against Canada's Drag Race season two. I don't remember a lot of these moments. So, but that it was very, ISIS themed, and that's sort of what popped. Was there anything from just even the rap itself that?
I mean, not even like the rap. It was just more of the quotes, and very specifically, probably my favorite quote from ISIS, which was, "When I said I had bad knees, I lied, bitch." Like that, and of course, Greg. How can you forget? Like a good 30% of it dedicated to Eve 6000 and
Yes,
Reveliana from the Big Top. Of course, you're ready for the big reveal.
I don't
Gonna
even
keep them
remember
guessing,
that.
guessing.
I
It's
don't remember this.
the worst challenge performance of all time, in maybe in Drag Race history. It's incredible. Next to Gothy Kendall, just legendary. I'll send you a clip. It's great.
So, uh, next was Karamilk, and here's the thing with the remaining queens, Karamilk, PM, and Van Gogh. I thought they were all really good, and I
Yes,
actually thought, to be honest, Karamilk could have won this. I thought
girl,
this.
same, absolutely same, 100%.
I wrote she was awesome.
Yeah,
She gave a little bit different than PM, who we'll talk about in a second, but she had season three, but her timing, her like how she worked it out. Karamilk does have this thing we've talked about in other episodes. There's times where she's super focused and like so in her performance and so good, and then other times you're like, what's sort of happening here? This was one of those times where she just nailed it, and you're like, I would pay to see a Karamilk performance after this. But it was really good. I don't remember any of the specific lines from some season 3, but do you?
I do not. If I'm being so real, but I think she still did a great job. Like again, she
Yeah.
just had such presence and energy, and it was great. I thought she did fantastic. Yeah.
So PM, and by the way, the other thing we don't know is how did they get the seasons they got? How did
Hmm.
someone get season 4 versus season 2 versus whatever? Because if I were any of them, I'd want season 4 because it has the Melinda Verga like sort of clip in it, and which guarantees you at least a shot to
Some
win.
attention.
And
Right.
PM got it, and that was, to be honest, PM was as good as Karamilk and Van Goth, and I thought that was the only reason. Spoiler: she eventually won this. She was really good, but it was the hands down the most memorable of all the rap like sort of montages.
Hands down. And it's the thing where it's like, because you also had the best first, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that she'd win it. Oh no, she went all in. Like every moment was picked out, like just adding on those little nuances to when you're inhabiting a character, when you're doing the Melinda stuff. Like it was a full body performance, and I was very impressed. It was absolutely within PM's wheelhouse, but like for me, like her and Carrie Milk right next to each other, I'm like, oh, this is what the challenge actually is. So sorry to Sammy and Ebony because that is not, yeah.
Absolutely. Last and not least was Van Goth, who I wrote was really good. She made season 5 seem like a better season than it was. Um, and I didn't I was afraid she might have won, but she does. I will say this: the one thing about Van Goth, and it doesn't matter because hopefully she's no longer listening. She
Yeah.
does do this in all. By the way, all queens do this. They all have their go-to moves. She has a couple go-to moves that she keeps using in performances and lip syncs. One is that heel turn, like the heel. It's not a heel turn. It's like on the ball of her foot where she like turns
Mhm.
around on that. She keeps doing that, which is perfect. And listen, it's better than a 1, 2, 3 like waving your arm like a New York City Hell's Kitchen queen. Like I'm all for that. But I thought she was good. I was afraid they were going to give this to her as the first one, and Evan, luckily they did not. Who won this challenge? Sort of in a surprise.
This challenge win went to PM. It actually went to PM. And it was the kind of thing where they seemed delighted over there. For me, if I was like, as I watched the performances, I'm like, PM actually did the best, like full down.
Yeah,
That was my genuine thought. And so I just thought that the judging was going to be very Van Gogh or something. Like I thought it was just going to be there. They made the right call. And like, this was like, for every time that we have a little disagreement with the judging that happens this
yeah.
season, no, they absolutely killed it. She absolutely deserved it. And as a bonus, not only does she win, she gets to not participate in the rest of the episode, which is amazing. What
I
a
mean,
treat. Yeah.
honestly, that would be the most exciting thing to me. It's like I got in the final and I finale and I don't have to do anything else, and you're paying me to be here. All right. Um,
Yeah.
the next design is uniqueness, which means design.
Hmm.
And once again, another design challenge. Geez, I wonder who's going to win this out of the remaining queens. So the crazy thing about this is they're all given the same dress, and they're told to turn it into couture extravaganza. And they come into the workroom off the stage where they've been told about this in boy clothes and changed. I think this was the next day. Like this
There's
could
no
not have
way.
been the
It
same
had to have
day.
been the next day. They spent all day learning the rap and performing the rap and doing their thing, and then they had to move on. There's no way they could have done that within the same
Because
day at all.
later
Yeah.
PM comes in and they're like, "Did you sleep in?" So it's so
Right.
clear it's not the same day, but they don't give you that. Like they don't say next day in the workroom. They just sort of
Hmm.
come in. Um, the one thing that is sort of you know interesting. It's all a competition. We get it. Van Goth is not here to help Ebony, and the tensions are sort of rising between these two BFFs over
Hmm.
the course of this episode. It started last episode too. Um, and again, just for everyone can be reminded, Ebony saved Van Goth when she did not have to with the
Hmm.
Golden Beaver, where Van
Hmm.
Goth, you could have argued, should have been in the bottom.
Hmm.
So this is a little like strange to me that Van Goth is giving this much television drama for something where maybe she should take 2 minutes and help her. But the more interesting thing about this to me in their workroom conversations while they're getting ready Karamilk has figured Van Gogh out. She's sort of poking at her. She's
Hmm.
doing it in the most like non like chalant, very Naomi Smalls way, like just poking a little bit. And the more she does it, by like and Caramilk isn't being like braggadocious or anything. She's just like, yeah, they really liked my dress last week, and I'm gonna like do the same thing, and I'm really confident about it. She's not saying she's going to win. She's just like, I'm really thrilled about what I'm gonna do. And Van Gogh starts getting pressed. Like she starts
Hmm.
getting like there's this insecurity in her. Like you can just see it. Did you notice that, Evan? Anything else that sort of popped for you from that whole like interchange?
I mean, it just absolutely. It was still just very pressed at this moment. It is the kind of thing where like it is a design challenge, so we kind of see how it's going to go. But like everyone's feeling their oats a little bit. Everyone's kind of
Yes.
in this vein. I will also briefly want to highlight a moment where Sammy decided to talk to the dress and hear what the dress wanted, and feel like what the dress's journey was going to be. I thought that was amazing. And actually, right before it, and so yeah, I thought it was a very good conversation that they had. I do love that Caramilk is feeling a little bit more feisty. But during this segment, this might even be the longest segment of the entire effing episode because a lot is discussed in this time. Van Gogh actually briefly talks about Akkadian family dynamics, and I
Right.
believe yeah, I believe this is one of the things where there is on the East Coast there is a non-Montreal colony which has a large French population, and having to reconnect with that family and whatnot. Greg seems to have thoughts about this segment.
Evan, I literally was like, we heard about Acadian earlier. We find
Uh-huh.
out Goth is Acadian. I'm still confused by Acadian. Google tells me, end quote. Acadian is relating to the former French colony of Acadia in eastern Canada and is now known as Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. So if you really want to go down a freaking hole, which would have been nice if they could have like for the rest of the world, let alone America, not for us,
Yeah.
just the rest of the world. Um, those territories that most Americans always think of as being British were at one time colonized by the French. And the
Hmm.
British were actually more in Ontario. They actually didn't have that area. This was part of like the Quebec area. And then there was
Hmm.
wars and battles like in the 1700s. I think actually the 1600s. Like they all fought over this. But somehow these Acadians, who were the French descendants, have still survived somehow through all these years, and they still have a pocket on this very time. There's not a lot of people who live here. It is, and so to be Acadian is random, and that's why it's taken. What season are we on now? Season
It's six. Yeah.
six to find anyone who's Acadian who's on this. I have many friends who are Canadian here, and they have to like stop and think about what Acadian is. They'll be like,
Hmm.
"What?" They grew up there. They live in LA now, but they went to Canadian education schools, elementary school, and they still don't even know. But we have
Hmm.
now all learned without our choice what Acadia
Thank
is.
goodness. Thank goodness. Absolutely. Well, as that discussion happens, is Kara Milk, who then, as they're kind of like getting things ready, goes into talking about what it was like growing up in largely white communities and
Mm,
having to avoid being the kind of the token black friend, and in the course of this competition, the token black queen. Now, she and Ebony have had discussions kind of somewhat related to this before, but I think especially, Greg, if you've listened to this podcast at all, Greg and I have talked about, especially like in UK, the treatment of queens of color that have been out there. There's only been one true non-white winner of this season, which was Tia Coffey from UK versus the World season 2. But for the most part, it really feels like a lot of times great, incredible performing queens from non-white origins are not always given the same chances, or at least the same coverage that their Caucasian fellows are. So for Caramel to bring this up and having to navigate that, I thought was extremely interesting. Low key, you mentioned Naomi Smalls earlier, and I remember Naomi Smalls talking about being adopted into a family where there was like largely white kids and still trying to find her black
yep.
identity like through that and navigating that space. I thought it was actually a very important conversation. It was the kind of thing where I had to check my time clock on this episode because it felt like it was taking up so much time, and it was great. I was just so curious about it, and that it was all coming up right now.
Yeah, it was strange. I don't know if it was strange that it came up right now. I don't know if Caramel was like, this might be the only chance we're going to get to talk about
Hmm.
this, or maybe they talked about it in the past. I feel like you don't hear that from Queens on any of these seasons. Like, oh, we talked about this 2 weeks before, and then it didn't get used, but we decided to talk about it one more time. Like I'm always curious about if that happens. Um,
Hmm.
I thought it was a great conversation, but then also just to keep the melodrama and not melodrama
Right.
I don't mean condescending way, but
Yeah.
PM has to, and I don't think PM was competing for tears at all in any way. I think
Right.
they were just talking. They were there for hours. Um, PM talks about how this is the 10th year since the passing of their mom, and I'm trying to have grace in this.
Hmm.
It wasn't the week of the anniversary of his mom's death. It wasn't the month, just the year. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, this is like strange to talk about this. And I'm so sad that it's been 10 years since your mom passed and whatever, but it's not like it's the anniversary. It's not like you're stuck here shooting the show while it was the anniversary of the death. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not trying to be like
Right, but also they have
cold.
photos and everything that were provided, so
Yeah.
very clearly production was ready for this and also may have even prompted this. So like I
Yes.
don't necessarily hold PM to any of that, but having that story of like being like wearing extravagant clothes and whatnot, being with your family members but still not feeling comfortable enough to come out, that's actually a really, I think, very important story because I think that's probably related to a lot of queer people who feel like it's never their time or they're just worried about the reaction or whatever. So I thought it was actually quite the story. And then that prompts another discussion from Ebony, who talks very similarly, being, wanting to come out to her parents and them saying to her specifically that it's not real until you're 18. Come back when you're 18, and like we'll
Yeah.
see if this is just a phase or whatever, which is, of course, one of the most offensive things that you could hear as a young queer person growing up here to be like, it's like whatever, but like it was just one discussion after another of like people. I really didn't feel like it was a trauma off. This wasn't fucking Nix and Margarita
Yeah.
Califata from España. Like it really felt like it was all genuine. This was just the moment when it all happened to land. And it was, I don't know, it's nice to see them kind of all raw like that and in a non-compete kind of way. Some of it may have been forced by production a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of very interesting discussions happening at the same time.
I did love that Ebony, telling that story, and I sort of wanted to know more about her and her relation with her
Right.
dad. Not, she didn't,
Yeah.
and by the way, she may have said more and they just didn't make the edit, or maybe that's all she wanted to share. But
Hmm.
I found that I had a lot of compassion for that. But more excitingly, they're finally getting out of the goddamn workroom and they're going back on stage, and it is time for our queens and our guest judge and Saren and Tracy Melshore to walk down that runway and get behind that panel. And here comes Brooklyn Heights in a stunning gold dress. Loved the dress. Wish she would wear hose. I'm getting a little like I know she loves the naked leg. I get it. I just want her to mix
DD
it up.
Fuego representation wherever you look.
I just want her to mix it up a little bit. Just a little
Uh-huh.
bit. Brooklyn, just mix it up a little bit. But she looked fantastic. What did you think?
I thought it was okay.
Oh,
I thought it was a good look, but like she's given us some great looks
yeah.
already this season, and so like anytime that she does a pretty good look, I'm like okay. But then again, we also Greg and I love being spoiled. Any of you who watched our coverage of Espana season 5, we love you, Supreme Deluxe. I do not know if she's under a tax audit or something like that, but it was just for the host of the show to have runways that wouldn't pass muster in a design challenge. Not great. Hey, Greg, speaking of things not passing muster in a design challenge, let's talk
Whoa.
about Ebony La'Belle.
So, Evan, so just to remind everyone who's listening,
Oh, oh,
they were given a short black dress that was
mm,
basically it's almost like a tube top dress. Like it just came
right.
over the breasts with
Like a cocktail-y,
straps,
yeah.
and then it had like a little skirt around it. It wasn't that it was sort of like the perfect thing to give them to be like, you don't have a lot of time, try to juice this up. And she cut it up in the worst possible way ever. Like, Ebony, I love you, but this was like something a middle schooler would do, or like someone who's a freshman in high school, like in their first design. It was bad. Like the top didn't go with the bottom. It was like I didn't
There's
understand
this
what she was
weird
doing.
horizontal like
Line
buckle strap thing that's happening, and you're like,
and in her voiceover, she said that it was conceptual and perfection, and I'm like, it's not conceptual, it's not perfection. It might be uniqueness, which was the idea of the challenge. But this was bad. I started to get worried for Ebony. I mean, I knew she was going to make it, but I was still like, I was a little worried for her because I didn't want her to be in the bottom two. Um, what did you have any other thoughts on this terrible outfit?
Bad. That's all I can say. This was not a great challenge for the record. Like I know they were a little bit pressed and rushed, but oof, that's all I can say.
I actually thought the other three were good. They just didn't. Two of them just didn't
Yeah.
do what the prompt was.
Well, let's
Sammy
talk about
Landry.
Sammy's.
Sammy
Yeah.
comes out and she has. And I wrote immediately. Sammy Landry barely has any of the original dress, but I
At
sort of
all.
but I sort of
Yeah.
loved it. Like I
It's
wish she
so
had,
her.
it's so
Yeah.
her. It's a long, very Coachella-y, like,
Mm-hmm.
going to the desert, sort of like long dress with a huge cleavage sort of coming down, just the fabric draping to the floor, like, and she used the black dress and she cut it up into sort of bows, like, or just piece like to hang on the dress. I sort of loved it. Like, I don't know how she'd perform in it, or maybe it's just for a photo shoot, but I was down for it. Did you have any other thoughts? I thought she looked great.
There was also the prolapse flowers that she had on there, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
certainly an interesting choice, but also plays well into the clown ridiculousness that she is. Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. It was fine. With the argument of how much of the original dress do you see, I don't see, barely see it anywhere. So I think that is definitely points off for there. But overall, pretty solid. Yeah,
Up next was Caramilk, and I have to say, I thought this was better than the dress she did last week. Like,
I
listen,
agree.
it's very simple. It's just a straight, it's not a tube dress, but it's just a straight cut for someone who's
Hmm.
super thin. You don't have to worry about body and like fitting it. And she could walk in it. Like it wasn't like she hadn't put any space in there for that. And I'll say this about Caramel, because remember at the beginning, her first two looks at the first episode were so good. And I knew that she wasn't top four. And I was like, how is this happening? Like, she's so good. She might not be a designer. She might not know how to make her own stuff. She does have an eye. And she does sometimes, if she has money or she has enough time, she knows what's good. And she saw this fabric, took it, and I know she barely had any of the black dress in it. She used it for the trim. I
Hmm.
I thought that connection worked enough for me. I didn't think she won, but I didn't think it was like she really screwed up the challenge. If they really wanted them to just make it in the same shape of the original dress, they needed to make that part of the prompt.
Yeah.
And I didn't think they did. I think they just
No.
said, take this, turn it into something fantastic. And two of them sort of did, and then they sort of got dinged for it. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah. Very, very similar thoughts. It was solid. It's the thing where it's like, am I going to remember this next week? Probably not. But at the same
No.
time, like, it's still solid. It's better than anything I could have made within the same time period. That's for sure. But like, it's the kind of thing where you always like to see queens improve and learn things over the course of a season. It really
Yeah.
feels like if she wanted to, she could turn this into something. If she was invited back for Canadian All Stars or something like that, although it's already filming from what I understand. If she did anything like that, I think low key she might actually be able to do good in a design challenge. I feel like she has enough confidence now to actually maybe do something. I don't know. That's just me. It was still good.
I think with Caramel, because if she comes back, she has to fucking fix that mug, like, big
Mm,
time. She needs like
mm,
help. Very. But I will say, listen, the first challenge on US season 18 was found, like, a lot of it for that was like found materials. This was better than like half of that shit. Like,
mhm.
I'm gonna give her prompts. I know she just took fabric and did some stuff with it, but anyway. But the undisputed winner of this, hands down, is Van Goth, who comes out and she has completely redone this in God knows
Mhm.
how many few hours. I don't even know if they had 12 hours or 6 or 8 or however much time she had. I will ding it. It's not long enough. It's
Yep.
coming up a little too high on her, and I don't know if she just mismeasured it or maybe she put it on and didn't push it down enough and didn't. She probably watched the runway and was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, um, but it is 100% designed and constructed way more than the other four. It's giving a little tartan, it's giving a little Scottish, it's giving a little oh my god, what's her name? Melinda Verga's favorite.
Oh, Vivian Westwood.
It's a little Vivian Westwood. But the
Inspired.
inspired. But I have to say, the best part about it is when they did the zooms on the close-ups of it, the tailoring is so good. Like, Van Gogh tailoring on that. is better than I think anything else you've done this season, and you probably had 6 hours to do it. I was that impressed me the most.
Yeah. It's the thing where it's like all of her the thing about her run is the thing that's kind of like strange to me is the fact that she did win for the remix on the very first one, but
Yeah.
everything she's won in since then has been a design challenge. And it's the kind of thing
Hmm.
where it's like okay, like it's the thing where it's like I just you could have a queen who's a good designer and like to smash it like this is one thing, but it's just like I'm still not it doesn't feel as dominant as it should be. Like it's the thing where spoiler alert, yes, she absolutely was the challenge for this. It's hands down the best thing that she's done yeah, of the four, no question about it. It's just like she got to be more than this. Like I don't know, it's the kind of
Yeah.
thing where like I just kind of feel like the one performance challenge aside, I feel like some of the other queens have like more diverse strengths. I feel like Ebony certainly, she may not be a designer, but she is certainly has more presence in some of these instances. So I don't know. It's the thing where it's like I'm very if the finale was somehow inexplicably a design challenge, it'd be like okay, well now we know who the producer's going to give it to. It just feels like three design challenges in one season. They all go to the same person. I don't know. Feels a little odd to me, but that's just my
And
sense of it.
she never did Snatch Game.
That is correct. That is correct. She did
So
design
we don't
challenge on that one.
know, we actually don't know how good she, and I don't think she did well in the acting challenge, did she?
She did on the lip sync one on episode 6. She was low, and then she got saved by the beaver. Let's not forget. So that was
Oh
the lip sync
wow.
Lollapalooza. So yes,
And she was okay. She was all right in the interview, the talk show one. She was like
yes,
fine there.
yeah. The roast and the improv challenge, she was safe in both.
Yeah, I you're making an
I,
excellent point.
I'm
You're
just
actually
saying.
making
I'm just saying. Like, listen, Violet Chachki at
mm,
least could show up and do a lip sync on occasion, or at least show something. But like, I don't know. That's just me overall. Not to rain on her parade.
Violet
Yeah.
Chachki's also Violet Chachki was way more of like a fashion icon even on her
Hmm.
season. Like she was groundbreaking. She and Fame were groundbreaking on that season. But like also Violet did a more than okay. Like her she did a fine Alyssa Edwards snatch game. Like
Yes, she
it was
did.
very safe. Like it was not
Yeah.
bad. Um Anyway, last but shockingly, Van Goth wins. We're super happy for Van Goth. Congratulations, you made it to the final. We knew you would. So we're down to three queens. It's Ebony, Sami, and once again Karamilk, and they need to do a dramatic monologue, which was
Mhm.
I have so many thoughts about this. First of all, I at first when Ebony first came out, I was like, wait, Ebony, why are you wearing this horrible red like lingerie dress? And then I realized they gave it to all of them.
Hmm.
And I was like,
And,
thank
but you know what?
God.
They got to pick the shoes, and Sammy picked the cloud shoes. That's all I can say. Sammy absolutely picked her shoes. Make no
I
mistake.
I just want to say to Trevor Boris and Brooklyn, if anyone from your team is listening or sent you a transcript of this, that was homophobic. These dresses were terrible. Like this was who I don't know what the equivalent to White Fox Boutique is in freaking if anyone knows that drop in Canada, but my gosh, this was like
Yeah.
Amazon overnighted like terrible like but anyway,
Now, before they actually walked out on stage, we actually had
oh
a little bit of
sure.
an untucked moment.
Oh, I forgot
And
it. Oh,
that's
that's right. They had Untucked. My bad. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
and it was during that point that they were talking about how well they were doing, where their feelings were at, etc. And it was at that point that Ebony said, like, y'all better be ready. I got some emotions in me, and they are going to come out in this thing. And when I heard dramatic monologue, I thought it was like, oh my God, they have to write a monologue too. No, 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 no. It is pre-written for them, and they have to then provide the text as to what it is. Getting that call.
It's an acting challenge.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Getting that call for Drag Race is like nothing else that will ever happen to me, a drag queen. But you know what? Sometimes I think about the lot. Like it's just that kind of thing. And also the way I was doing it was roughly equivalent to how Caramilk was doing it. She had these moments, but you could tell was acting. Then there's Sami Landri just reading out the text.
All right. So I actually disagree. I actually got to disagree with you a little bit. I
Okay.
actually thought that Ebony barely won this.
Mm.
I thought Caramilk was actually quite good. And I was actually very impressed. I thought Caramilk showed more range in her version of this dramatic than any of the rest. We should say they did the old drag race trick of interchanging the cuts of them all saying it sort of like cutting from one to another instead of just showing three
Yeah.
individuals, which is smart. But I will say they did not hide anything, or they didn't appear to, because we basically heard all three queens say the same dialogue in some way.
Hmm.
I I thought Ebony won it because there was one moment where she got slightly more emotional than anybody else, and that put her over the top. But I thought it actually could have been quite close. I don't think they would have put Ebony in the bottom versus Sami. And but I thought I felt so bad for Caramel because I felt like this was the I thought in every single one of these challenges she could have won, like
Hmm.
in theory, and she just kept getting screwed over by somebody else. I felt really bad
Hmm.
for her.
Yeah.
Did you have any other thoughts? Also, I would agree with you. Sami was also, this is one of those moments where like not having English as your first language like sort of hinders you a little bit. I thought she did as best as she could, but she's also not. I don't think she's an actress. I'm starting to wonder also. It's funny that Sami and Darlene have bonded on Insta because I'm sort of like on social media because I'm like, you guys are sort of the same. Like, what exactly are you amazingly great at? Like, I'm really curious. Anyway, did you have any other
Yeah.
thoughts? I'm sorry to.
The biggest thing that kind of gave it to me was that the edit almost gave it to Caramel because there's this one point where she has this moment of revelation in her thing where she's
Yeah.
like, and then I just felt the sadness. Like there's this very. She said she's a trained actor before, and I believe it. I saw a lot of
Yeah.
those things over here, while Ebony just went straight for the raw. And so, like, I think that kind of comes down to a "what's your pleasure" kind of thing, Jesse Ware. And I think
Yeah.
ultimately it just kind of went to Ebony there. But yeah, I thought overall Carrie Milk did a good job. But hey, Ebony wins this portion of the challenge.
She does. And I do one other thing I want to ask because it was so not necessary. I got to be honest. I like Saren Fox. She's a fine guest judge. But sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe we've had a little too much to do this season. She literally says to Ebony, when you came out, you weren't making eye contact with us. And then for a
Hmm.
moment, a brief moment, you look at my eyes and you had me right there. And I'm like, girl, do we really need to lay it on that thick? Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like I get it. You're doing, I don't know. That was a little annoying to me. But you're right. Ebony won. And what does that mean? Oh, wait.
That. Oh, I'll tell
Well,
you what
there's,
that means.
please.
That means that our top three queens so far, PM and Van Gogh and Ebony La'Belle, all are challenge winners officially for the week. They can all mark it off as a win. They all get $2,500 from someplace. And most importantly, that is PM's first win. That is Van Gogh's fourth win, making her the winningest queen in Canada's Drag
I,
Race history. And Ebony now has her third challenge win. Greg, what are your thoughts on this? Certainly.
um, I'm just going to say this. Evan, if a challenge falls in the middle of a forest and there's only two other queens you're competing against, is it really a full challenge? When I sort of feel like these are point 0.5 wins. I feel like
Mhm.
I don't I
This is
don't feel
this is a
like
mini challenge
this
equivalent.
is like I don't know if it's a mini challenge, it's more than that, but it's like yes, you made it to the finale. I'm not trying to diminish PM. I'm not trying to diminish Van Gogh. Van Gogh will say she won 4 challenge wins till the end of time. Um, I think that Ebony and Van Gogh have 3.5 and 2.5 wins. Like that's just in the
That's not how
annals.
they're gonna tell it.
I know, but in the annals of Drag Race history, this will be debated by historians and
Mhm.
theologians for time on end. But I'm saying unless I am convinced otherwise, it's 3.5 and 2.5. But I'm super happy for them. Van Gogh's design run wins is absolutely incredible.
Right. Like it's just the kind of thing where it's like to say that Van Gogh is the winningest queen ever on Canada's Drag Race. That just like it's that thing where it's like it's kind of like Candy Muse being twice in the top two for a season. Like it's just like she's an acquired taste. She's not everyone's thing, but like that just feels incongruous somehow. Like I don't know. It's a different thing. Not to rain on your parade, just feelings overall. But yes,
Is it like
congratulations
Ginger
to all
Minge
three.
winning on her fourth time?
I saw someone the other day say Robbie Turner should just come out and say my account was hacked by Ginger Midge, and then she'd be instantly forgiven by the Drag Race community, which I thought was amazing.
I
But
actually think
Greg,
I actually think Robbie Turner might be instantly forgiven.
I
Um
just
uh oh wait, you meant Robbie would be forgiven, not Ginger.
yes,
Oh.
Ginger Minj was in charge of it the whole time.
And hey,
Uh,
everyone, don't forget this May, Memorial Day weekend, Ginger Minge in Stop That Train. I know you're
my
excited
my
about.
my God, Marsha on the pit stop. Could you be less
Yes.
enthused? I was kind of shocked by how, like, girl, like
First of
I.
all, are there not? So they shot the first four of these in New York because Bianca's doing it off Broadway, and they're going back to LA. And thank fucking God, is there no one who knows how to do mic levels in New York City? Jesus Christ, that's what half of it was. Like
Yes.
her mic. Also, she might have been sick. I think Marsha might
That's
have,
the sense that I got there because
and
like she
that
was just so low energy on vocal rest
it
or
was.
whatever. Yeah.
I feel like she might. She's not. She's off. The cabaret ended like 5 weeks ago or something. But
Yeah.
it felt like she'd been battling something or sick and was like doing her best to like get through it. So I did feel a little bad for her. Sorry, we made a pit stop. But anyway, more importantly, we're at a lip sync, Evan. It is
Yes,
between
the talent portion
Sami
of the
Sami
evening. Yes.
Landri and Karamilk, and it is to the incredible song that I now have to find.
Fix
Fix
You by
You by
Vita
Vita.
Chambers.
Is it
Yeah.
Vita or Vita?
Vita. I heard
Vita.
Vita.
Vita Chambers. I don't recognize this song, but I liked it. It was sort of fun.
Yeah. I thought it was a fine song for a pretty not great lip sync, Greg. That's what
Oh
I thought. I
no!
did not. I was not that
I'll say this. I watched it twice and I thought Caramel won. I did not think Sammy won. I
I just feel like it was the kind of thing where like sometimes how RuPaul like just has a queen that she's just like, I'm done with you, and just kind of toss them away, kind of like with the edit Jax got during the
yeah.
lip sync Lollapalooza thing. This felt similar. Caramilk did pretty good across all things this episode, and then it just kind of,
I just
like
want Caramel. When you go to sleep at night and you're wondering what happened, just know you performed a song actually on rhythm to the beat of the song, and Sammy
mhm.
did not. Like Sammy has a problem with like staying on beat, and if you watch this lip sync again and again, it really pops. But I like you, Sammy Landry. I'm actually a fan. I'm not trying to like rip you, but you lost this lip sync, and you know how we lost. We know you lost lip sync because Evan. Do you know what Brooklyn said when she said that Sammy won? She had
What?
very specific language. She didn't say she won the lip sync. She said, your talent is taking you to the finale. So the lip sync really didn't matter. They were always going to give it to
Sami
Sammy.
Landry.
By the way,
Yeah.
the most adorable thing happened for anyone watching on video. Evan's cat just put his paw up on his shoulder because he's like, stop talking about Canada's Drag Race.
Feed me. Oh my
Feed
God.
me.
I know. Yes.
Did
It was
you?
very
But
cute.
you didn't catch that part where Brooklyn was making it pretty
Where
clear.
she didn't officially announce that it was you're the winner of the lip sync. No, I did not immediately clock that. But I
Yeah.
guess again, like reframing the this is a challenge, like it's just a lip sync. But if for the sake of the episode, you need to call it the talent portion of the evening. Sure, why not? Like all right, cool, go off, sis.
So Caramel is doesn't seem that crushed. I think she maybe saw the writing on the wall, or maybe not. And listen, she's top five, like pretty great.
Hmm.
And she walks to the back and she says the funniest thing that she has said in the entire, what is it, 7 episodes? Eight, I can't
Hmm.
remember, eight
Eight
episodes.
episodes, yeah.
She goes, well, I guess it really was chocolate. And then the editors put in the
Wow,
wah
wow.
wah from the US season. And they all laugh. I thought it was and she makes a really great plea when she's in the workroom. She's like, she was the humble one, she was the nice one, and maybe she should win Miss Congeniality. It's unclear that they're doing Miss Congeniality. They're doing this
Correct.
fan favorite thing with Shark, which is I think is super cool. I wish
Hmm.
the US would go back to doing stuff like this. I actually went and voted, and I voted for Paolo, just because I want her to win because I just think it would be hilarious. And anyone can vote, by the way. You can be in any country in the world and vote. It's easy to find on the Canada's Drag Race Insta. You just go to their links and click. Actually, who would you vote for fan favorite, Evan?
Oh God, that is tough. I mean, I might say PM personally, but
Whoa.
that's just because I am a fan and that is my favorite. What can I say? Is she going to win the season? I don't think so. But then again, I've not really checked to see who's at the premiere party with or finale party with Brooklyn next week. So we will see.
So, in that context, Evan, and having no tea on how they filmed the finale, I mean, I know who the top two are, but I don't know who. I don't know how many crownings they filmed. Who do you think is winning Canada's Drag Race season 7?
In theory, it's got to be Van Gogh. In theory, it's got to be Van Gogh. I think Ebony would be a more compelling choice at this point here, but Van Gogh just has the most wins, just flat out. You can't argue with that. Like she will has I think the most clearance or the most runway to try and get there. So, uh, we'll see what happens. But do you agree with me or no?
I think we have to leave a door open that, remember, it's a performance challenge
Hmm.
for the last episode. And if Ebony kills it, in theory, she wins that challenge, which would be 4-4. So we need to make that possibility potential. Um, I am not one for double crownings,
Hmm.
but in a perfect world, and I don't think I don't know if they actually shot this. I would do a double crowning. I would crown both of them. I think the point you make about Van Gogh really only winning design challenges have to be taken into consideration for anyone doing it. And unless Van Gogh absolutely kills the performance music video challenge,
Hmm.
bless the crowner, whatever. Um, and I'm even okay if they do the All Stars 4 weird edit, like cut it
Winner,
together.
winner,
This
two chicken
like
dinners. Right.
like looks
Exactly. Yeah.
weird. Like I don't care. They'll if they both got crowns, if they both I mean they've got Crave has that heated rivalry money now. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe maybe they
This
can
is a heated
afford
rivalry. Let's be real. So,
maybe they can afford another $100,000. Um but that would be my take. I would love a double crowning. And if not, if Van Gogh wins, say la vie. It's an on merit win crowning. I can't be upset with it. And I would love for Ebony to win. I think Ebony would be better for the franchise to win. But that's just my personal take. I can't wait to see if Van Gogh or someone else puts the comments in the YouTube.
Greg and I have a wonderful tradition of typically interviewing the winners of any of the given international
Oh, this is
seasons.
not happening.
If Van Gogh wins somehow, I think that might pass us by, but you never
Should
know.
we do it if they offer? They haven't offered. Like, should we even reach it? Should we?
I don't think we should reach out, but if for some reason they do offer, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll
If
see.
you have
I
thoughts,
have free time. Oscar voting's over. I've got time. I have like
if you
a
have
week
thoughts,
break.
follow us on Instagram. Leave us a comment on our
Yeah.
Bluesky. Let us know what you think we should do in that situation. Van Gogh, if you're in our YouTube comments, leave your thoughts
Let us
too.
know if you want us to talk to you if you win.
Absolutely, most important. But most importantly, please also follow us for our coverage on the Meet the Queens for I was about to say Down Under, but for UK versus the World season 3. That because that we have that dropping around the same time. And most importantly, make sure you follow us for next week. And most importantly, please feel free to leave a review on the Spotify or the Apple or wherever you're listening to this. Those things can help visibility. And most critically, thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it every single time. We'll catch you during the crowning next week, everybody. Goodbye. Uh, uh, uh. Oh, wait. There we go.